We all know our data is basically gold these days, right? But who's actually making sure companies are keeping it safe? Well, today we're going to talk about a brand new profession that's designed to do exactly that. Okay, so think about driving a modern car. You've got all these super clever systems built in just for your safety. Like, for example, you've got tech that's always watching the road and gives you a heads up. When you start to drift out of your lane. It's just a little alert, a little nudge, but it keeps you on track, and honestly, it prevents accidents before they even have a chance to happen. It's a huge safety feature. All right, now take that exact same idea, but apply it to your personal data. What if companies had a similar system? A kind of built-in warning to stop them from, swerving off the road with your private information. Well, believe it or not, that system is now becoming a reality. So here's what we're going to cover. We'll explore this new data guardian, look at the new rulebook that made all this necessary, and of course, meet the new professionals taking on the role. We'll also break down which companies really need them, and finally, talk about what this all means for the future of accountability. Let's jump in. So let's really nail down this analogy. In your car, you've got something called an Advanced Driver Assistance System, or ADAS, to keep you safe. Well, a very similar concept is now popping up for data, designed to help companies comply with India's new Digital Personal Data Protection Act. You can literally think of it as an assistance system to help them stay in their lane with our data. So you might be asking, why now? Why this sudden need for a whole new job title? Well, it all comes down to a massive change in the rulebook. A powerful new law in India has totally flipped the script, setting a much, much higher bar for how companies have to handle our personal info. And that law is the Digital Personal Data Protection Act of 2023. Honestly, this is the bedrock for everything we're talking about today. It's this huge, comprehensive law that lays out exactly how organizations must protect the personal data of every single person in India. Okay, so we've got the new rulebook, the DPDPA. But who's the referee in this new system? Well, let's meet the main character of our story, the independent data auditor. An independent data auditor, or IDA for short, is this brand new kind of professional. Their entire job, their whole purpose, is to evaluate a company's data practices and make absolutely sure they're fully compliant with the DPDPA. They're an outside objective expert. And the people who came up with this idea, they use some really powerful language. They see the ISA as the guardian of data accountability. That tells you everything, right? This role isn't just about checking boxes on a form. It's about fostering a real culture of responsibility. So what do these guardians actually do? Well, the law outlines 3 core jobs. First, they conduct a data protection impact assessment. That's basically to sniff out any risks. Second, they perform a deep dive audit of the company's compliance. And third, and this is huge, they report their most significant findings directly to the board of directors. So yeah, they have real authority. Okay, so does this mean every single company with a website needs to go out and hire one of these auditors? Well, not exactly. The law specifically targets a group called significant data fiduciaries. And of course, that leads us to the million-dollar question. A fiduciary is just a company that's entrusted to manage your data responsibly. But what makes one significant? This is where it gets really interesting, because the law leaves a little room for interpretation. Basically, there are 2 ways a company could get this significant label. The government could officially notify them, but that's less likely because, let's be real, the government can't possibly know the internal data workings of every single company. The much more probable scenario is that companies will have to self-determine. They'll have to assess their own risk and make the call themselves. So what would push a company to classify itself as significant? It all comes down to risk. If you're handling biometrics, vast amounts of data, or sensitive information, the risk is higher. Same goes for processing children's data. And here's a big one, using AI. Because AI can process data in unpredictable ways, it introduces new and unknown risks. A smart organization facing any of these is going to err on the side of caution and bring in an auditor. A new profession doesn't just appear out of thin air. It needs structure, training, a whole community. So let's look at how this one is being built from the ground up. The driving force behind this is the Foundation for Data Protection Professionals in India, or FDPPI. They saw this need coming a mile away, so they've taken the lead by creating a dedicated professional body, the Association of Independent Data Auditors of India, also known as AIDI. And this is all happening right now, and it's moving fast. ADI was formally launched just this past April. A public town hall followed only weeks later. And get this, the first official induction program for new auditors is already planned for this June. This profession is definitely on the move. All right, let's bring it all together. We've got a new law, a new profession, and a new framework. But why does this matter to you and me? What's the bigger picture here for the future of accountability? At its core, this is all about building a new support structure for our rights. The ultimate goal isn't just protecting data, it's about protecting people. The idea is to achieve privacy protection through personal data protection. And in this system, the independent data auditor is the pillar that holds that entire principle up. And that brings us right back to where we started. The independent data auditor is that advanced DPDPA assistance system. They are the professionals on the inside, helping companies navigate complex rules, and most importantly, stay in their lane with our data. So I'll leave you with this to think about. In an age where our data is more valuable than ever, and AI is unlocking powerful new risks, the question of who guards that data becomes critical. Who do you trust to be its guardian? Thanks for joining this explainer.